Hello everybody and welcome back to Divulgando Ciencia. My name is Gustavo Herz-Huber. In this video I'm going to talk to you about the HIV or the virus that causes AIDS. I'm going to talk to you about a woman that has been cured from this virus. As I've mentioned many times, this virus has no cure. Many people write on the channel saying, I got cured using medication from this doctor or this guy, and usually it's herbs, but these are just scams. So be aware, these are just scams. HIV has no cure. When there is a cure, it's everywhere in the news and it's something really, really rare. So this is the case of the first woman. If you like the video, please give it a like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell and follow me also on Facebook and Instagram. Welcome to this new video. An American research team reported that it has possibly cured HIV in a woman for the first time. Building on past successes as well as failures in the HIV cure research field, these scientists used a cutting-edge stem cell transplant method that they expect will expand the pool of people who could receive similar treatments to several dozen annually. Their patients stepped into a rarefied club that includes 3 men whom scientists have cured or very likely cured of HIV. Researchers also know of 2 women whose own immune systems have quite extraordinarily apparently vanquished the virus. In the first case of what was ultimately deemed a successful HIV cure, investigators treated the American Timothy Ray Brown for acute myeloid leukemia. He received a stem cell transplant from a donor who had a rare genetic abnormality that grants the immune cells that HIV targets natural resistance to the virus. The strategy in Brown's case, which was first made public in 2008, has since apparently cured HIV in 2 other people, but it has also failed in a string of others. This therapeutic process is meant to replace an individual's immune system with another person's, treating their cancer while also curing their HIV. First, physicians must destroy the original immune system with chemotherapy and sometimes irradiation. The hope is that it also destroys as many immune cells as possible that still quietly harbor HIV despite effective antiretroviral treatment. Then, provided the transplanted HIV-resistant stem cells engraft properly, new viral copies that might emerge from any remaining infected cells will be unable to infect any other immune cells. It is unethical, experts stress, to attempt an HIV cure through a stem cell transplant, a toxic, sometimes fatal procedure, in anyone who does not have a potentially fatal cancer or other condition that already makes them a candidate for such risky treatment. Dr. Deborah Perso, a pediatric infectious disease specialist at the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, who chairs the NIH-funded scientist committee behind the new case study, the International Maternal Pediatric Adolescents AIDS Clinical Trials Network, said that while we are excited about the new case of possibly HIV cure, the stem cell treatment method is still not a feasible strategy for all but a handful of the millions of people living with HIV. Dr. Yvonne Bryson, a pediatric infectious disease specialist at UCLA's David Geffen School of Medicine, described the new case study at the virtually held annual conference on retroviruses and opportunistic infections. The New York patient, as the woman is being called because she received her treatment at New York Presbyterian Weill Cornell Medical Center in New York City, was diagnosed with HIV in 2013 and leukemia in 2017. Bryson and Perso have partnered with a network of other researchers to conduct lab tests to evaluate the woman. The team has long sought to mitigate the considerable challenge investigators face in finding a donor whose stem cells could both treat a patient's cancer and cure their HIV. Traditionally, such a donor must have a close enough human leukocyte antigen or HLA matched to maximize the likelihood that the stem cell transplant will engraft well. The donor must also have the rare genetic abnormality conferring HIV resistance. The genetic abnormality largely occurs in people with Northern European ancestry, and even among people native to that area, at a rate of only about 1%. So for those lacking substantial similar ancestry, the chance of finding a suitable stem cell donor is particularly low. The procedure used to treat the New York patient, known as a haplocore transplant, was developed to expand cancer treatment options for people with blood malignancies who lack HLA identical donors. First, the cancer patient receives a transplant of umbilical cord blood, which contains stem cells that amount to a powerful nascent immune system. A day later, they receive a larger graft of adult stem cells. The adult stem cells flourish rapidly, but over time they are entirely replaced by cord blood cells. Compared with adult stem cells, cord blood is more adaptable, generally requires less of a close HLA match to succeed in treating cancer and causes fewer complications. Cord blood, however, does not typically yield enough cells to be effective as a cancer treatment in adults, so transplants of such blood have traditionally been largely limited to pediatric oncology. In haplocore transplants, the additional transplantation of stem cells from an adult donor, which provides a plethora of cells, can help compensate for the paucity of cord blood cells. The role of the adult donor cells is to hasten the early engraftment process and render the transplant easier and safer. For the New York patient, who has a mixed-race ancestry, the team and its collaborators found the HIV-resistant genetic abnormality in the umbilical cord blood of an infant donor. They paired a transplant of those cells with stem cells from an adult donor. Both donors were only a partial HLA match to the woman, but the combination of the two transplants allowed for this. It is estimated that there are approximately 50 patients per year in the US who could benefit from this procedure. The ability to use partially matched umbilical cord blood grafts greatly increases the likelihood of finding suitable donors for such patients. Another benefit of relying on cord blood is that banks of these research are much easier to screen in large numbers for the HIV resistance abnormality than the bone marrow registries from which oncologists find stem cell donors. The woman's transplant engrafted very well. She has been in remission from her leukemia for more than 4 years. 3 years after her transplant, she and her clinicians discontinued her HIV treatment. 14 months later, she still has experienced no resurgent virus. Multiple ultrasensitive tests can detect no sign in the woman's immune cells of any HIV capable of replicating, nor can the researchers detect any HIV antibodies or immune cells programmed to go after the virus. They also drew immune cells from the woman and in a laboratory experiment attempted to infect them with HIV, to no avail. As you could see on this video, this is a very unique case because in this experiment, they treated a woman with a combination of cord blood cells and also cells from a donor, and both were not completely a match, but they allowed the woman to treat her leukemia in the first place and also to cure HIV. So it's a really, really nice, in my opinion, technique, and it opens the door to this new technique to treat leukemia and to cure HIV. And many people can be also cured of HIV using this technique in the future. So for me, this is really brilliant. If you like the video, please give it a like, share, subscribe. Follow me also on Facebook and Instagram. This would help me a lot. Thank you very much and see you next time.